You feel it before you notice it. Tiny itch in your hand. Your thumb moves. Your phone is already lit up before you've decided to pick it up. You tell yourself it's just a habit. A bad one, maybe, but harmless. But that's not actually what's happening. Something much older is running the show. Right now, somewhere in your skull, a small cluster of neurons is doing exactly what it did 200,000 years ago. Doesn't know what a phone is. Doesn't know what an app is. It only knows one thing. Something might have changed out there. And you need to check. Start 200,000 years ago. Your ancestors lived in small bands on the African savanna. Maybe 30 people. Maybe 50. Their survival depended on one skill above almost all others. Noticing change. A rustle in the grass could be wind. Or it could be a predator. The humans who paid attention to small changes survived. The ones who didn't often didn't get the chance to pass on their genes. Over hundreds of thousands of years, this built something specific into the human brain. A system tuned not to comfort but to detection. Psychologists call this negativity bias. Your brain notices threats and changes faster and more strongly than it notices safety. A 2001 paper by psychologist Roy Baumeister, titled Bad is Stronger Than Good, found that across nearly every domain tested, bad events and bad information had a stronger, longer-lasting impact on people than good ones did. This isn't a flaw. It's a feature. Kept your ancestors alive. But it was never built to switch off. It was built to run constantly, quietly, always asking one question. Has anything changed? Your ancestors' world gave this system very little to work with. A whole day might pass with nothing more dramatic than the weather shifting. The system would fire, get its answer, and settle down. Your world today gives it unlimited fuel. Every notification is a rustle in the grass. Every red bubble says something changed. Come look. Your brain can't tell the difference between a genuine survival-relevant change and a stranger liking a photo you posted 6 minutes ago. There's a reason this feels less like a choice and more like a pull. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent years studying dopamine, the brain's chemical tied to motivation and reward. His research found something that reshaped how scientists understood craving itself. Dopamine doesn't spike strongest when you get a reward. It spikes strongest when a reward is uncertain. Think about that. Certainty is calming. Uncertainty is what grabs you by the collar. A guaranteed reward barely moves your brain's dopamine system. But a reward that might or might not show up creates one of the strongest dopamine responses researchers have measured. This is the exact mechanism behind slot machines. You don't know if this pull wins. That not knowing is what keeps your hand moving. Now look at your phone again. You don't know if there's a new message. You don't know if the post did well. Every time you unlock your screen, you're pulling a lever built on the same uncertainty that makes slot machines so hard to walk away from. But there's a second, quieter thread woven into this. And it might be the more important one. Humans are, before anything else, social animals. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent decades studying primate social structures and proposed what's now called Dunbar's number. The idea that humans evolved to maintain meaningful relationships with roughly 150 people. Not more. That was the size of the social world your brain was built to track. Losing your place in that group wasn't a minor setback. It was often a death sentence. So your brain developed a constant monitoring system for social standing. Am I liked? Am I included? Has anything shifted in how the group sees me? That system never left. Every time you check whether someone replied, whether your post got likes, you're running the same ancient subroutine your ancestors ran when they wondered if they were still welcome around the fire. Except now it fires dozens of times a day, triggered by an audience far larger than 50 people you'd known your whole life. Here's the twist most people never notice. Your ancestors' checking behavior had a natural ceiling. Only so many people to watch. Only so many hours before darkness stopped further checking. The system would fire, gather information, and rest. Your phone removed the ceiling entirely. No darkness stops it. No cap on how many people could respond to you. You've taken a detection system built for 50 people and a few square miles of grassland, and pointed it at 8 billion people and an information space that never sleeps. This is why willpower alone rarely works. You are not fighting a bad habit. You're fighting a survival mechanism that has no idea it's being exploited. Telling yourself to try harder is a bit like telling your hand not to flinch from a hot stove. The system isn't reasoning, it's reacting. So what actually helps? Researchers who study behavior change, including work from psychologist B.J. Fogg at Stanford, point to a consistent finding. You rarely defeat an automatic behavior by fighting it directly. You defeat it by changing its triggers. Remove the notification, and the rustle in the grass never happens. Put the phone in another room, and the uncertainty machine goes quiet because you can't pull a lever that isn't in front of you. This isn't about blaming yourself for checking your phone 80 times a day. It's about understanding that you are not broken. You're ancient hardware running in an environment evolution never prepared you for. The same instincts that once kept a small band of humans alive on an open plain are now being pulled, again and again, by a screen the size of your palm. Tonight, when your phone buzzes and your hand moves before your mind catches up, that's not weakness. That's 200,000 years of survival instinct still faithfully doing its job, just aimed at the wrong target. You're not failing to control an impulse. You're finally seeing it clearly for the first time.